everyone, Joan Scannell here with your energy forecast for February 2025. The month of February resonates to the energy of the 11-2 in numerology. The 11-2 in numerology is a master number. It's called the master teacher. And this month we are going to be teaching people how to either do things right or to do things wrong. And we always want to aim, at least, to be the one to teaches people how to do things right. This month is going to be about balance. It's going to be about cooperation. It's going to ask us to step into the role of a teacher, of a guide, of somebody that's a positive example of how we should behave. There's going to be two energies going on primarily two energies going on into the world this month, in the month of February. It's going to be one of the two, which is the kindness, the sensitivity, the cooperation, the diplomacy, balance. And then there's going to be a little bit of an energy that's a bit more selfish. That energy is going to be focused on self-centeredness, possibly manipulation, anger, narrow-mindedness. We want to try to stay into the energy of the positive, the more appreciative, the more graceful. This is going to occur in a lot of our interactions throughout the month. It's not just going to be in what we see on the news or what's going on, in government situations. This is going to be in our private interactions as well. So all of that brings us to the message of our reading. It starts out with our favorite card, which is the Eight of Pentacles. Minor Arcana card. Actually, all of them are Minor Arcana cards. So this tells us we're dealing with issues of the earth. The Eight of Pentacles is kind of a nose to the grindstone kind of energy, but it suggests in general that's what's going on around us. There's a decisiveness, there's a direction. Everybody seems to be focused on their goals. Regardless of what those goals are, our focus is on those goals. There will be an attention to what we believe is fair, to what we believe is just, to our personal power, to making good choices in our lives. But we must remember as we get into our challenge that what we believe to be correct is not necessarily what other people believe to be correct. More information on that later. We will be getting details coming out about medicine, technology. There may be some things that are divulged that we didn't know about, secrets that are coming out. Some conspiracy theories might be either floated out there or actually validated some more. These could be recent ones, or these could be conspiracy theories that date back, 50, 60, 100 years. This news will be enlightening, but it won't be well received by everybody. Overall, this is an energy of putting things in order. However, in order to create order, sometimes what must occur first is disorder. And that leads us to our challenge, which I referenced earlier, about not necessarily agreeing on everything. So our challenge card is the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is definitely an uncooperative energy. This is combative, this is disruptive, this is people not necessarily getting along. I do think collectively there will be a rallying against the government, against certain institutions, maybe medical institutions or sub-agencies of the government related to medicine, possibly education, but I feel it's more about medicine, technology, and perhaps some things that we're going to be finding out about social media and what's been going on with social media in the last several years. Some people are going to believe it, some people are going to refuse to accept it, and other people are going to be angry and probably be railing against or rallying against the government or the agencies involved because of what they have heard. Overall, this is an energy of civil unrest. It doesn't mean that there will be chaos in our streets, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if we have some kind of continued demonstrations that go on because people are upset with what is happening in the world around us or what they're finding out about the world around us. Our theme is the Four of Pentacles. Again, another minor arcana. So we have two pentacles and a wand. This is basically asking us, our theme, our message is we need to kind of hold steady this month. We need to keep our little section of the world peaceful, functioning, and upright. We can't be contributing to the problem. Remember, we're going back to that 11-2. We have to be the one who's trying to be about cooperation, trying to be about balance, trying to be about diplomacy and kindness. We need to handle our decisions wisely. We need to get control of our emotions. We need to honor our responsibilities, treat each other with respect. We can't engage in the fighting with others. If you don't have to agree with things, you definitely are welcome to have opinions and ideas, but we need to kind of be responsible and steady as we interact with others and regarding our opinions. I do think this is a card that suggests things are slowly improving, which is a good thing. It'll just be bumpy at first. There could be some economic downturns or issues that continue to go on that are going to upset people. There would probably be, again, some stuff going on with the government that will be upsetting people. There will be rallies, as I mentioned, or demonstrations where the people don't necessarily agree with what's happening. So what is it we can do? Well, aside from, again, staying in that 2 energy that we talked about, how do we do that? Yeah, it's easy to say, yeah, stay balanced, stay cooperative, but how do we do that? Well, our state of mind kind of helps us with that. And I also pulled a card from a different deck. It's an oracle deck for a little bit of advice on this. So I'll start with our state of mind. State of mind is temperance. Temperance is a card that's, slow and steady wins the race. It's telling us to keep our balance, keep our thoughts and our actions sober, and maybe too, it could be literally, if you're using substances to kind of help you cope with things, try to scale back a little bit on that if possible, or get some help with that. Trust in yourself, stay out of the fray, and get back to your connection with spirit. Now, this month we have Groundhog Day coming on February 2nd. Groundhog Day is, obviously, we know, if Punxsutawney Phil, that's the groundhog, sees his shadow, there's 6 more weeks of winter. And if he doesn't, there's going to be an early spring. Obviously, it's the 6-week mark between Yule, which is December 20, the winter solstice, and the spring equinox. So that's why we have this. Basically, that's kind of a metaphor for us bringing in the light ourselves. Yes, I'm sure you've noticed if you're in the northern hemisphere, there is more light coming in. Where the sun used to set here in New York at 4:30, I now probably get well after 5 o'clock before it starts setting. The return of the light makes us feel a lot of peace, a lot of joy. However, the real message here is that the light comes from within us. When we see our shadows, the groundhog sees his shadow, there's a big metaphor here. He runs from it. However, if we turn to the light and we embrace the light and we recognize our shadows and still deal with them, that's how we feel, or we stay more spiritually connected. So what I would recommend, and I pulled a card here, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, is that we find ways to connect with the light within us, that we find ways to bring joy into our lives that truly feel enriching, that raise our energy level, that raise our vibration, our frequency, that make us feel more connected to the divine. And the card I pulled came from a deck called Imbolc, which is based on the different sabbats of the pagan year. And this one the card is called Blackberries. And it says, there is no weaving with existence when you ignore the presence of spirit within yourself. And that kind of ties in with the message of we are the bringers of the light. We are the ones who Yes, it's coming from outside, but it truly has to come from within us in order for us to have peace. So how do we do that? Well, how do you connect with things that bring you joy? Well, it could be something as so simple as, connecting with family. If that's not your jam, it can be connecting with a creative venture that you like, painting or um, music or art. It can be planning your garden for the year. It can be exercising. Whatever it is that brings the light out in you, that helps you feel aligned with your spirit and whatever you recognize spirit to be. It may be a traditional approach. You might find that connection with spirit in a traditional religious, many people do. Foundation, going to church, going to a Bible group, finding, your connection there. Or you may find it in some ways that are a little bit less. But what we need to do this month, in order to connect with that master teacher energy I mentioned in the beginning, to be the beacon of light and balance and cooperation and sensitivity. Again, this is not doormat. This is about being true to ourselves. Is we need to find ways to connect with the spirit within us, to be aligned with the spirit within us, and to bring that out into our life on a daily basis. So that's it. That's your message for February 2025. If you like what you heard, please visit me. I'm at www.joanscannell.com. Thank you.